So, how many of you have kids? Let's see, great. How many of you still think you're a kid? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So when I was a kid, I grew up in San Francisco. My parents were immigrants from the Philippines, and they had a rough time. They didn't know how to be American. They didn't know what it meant to assimilate to this country. And oftentimes we'd walk down the street and people would say things like, "Go back to your own country. Speak English. Where do you think you are?" And people would spit on us. And that was a long time ago. And so as a kid, I grew up afraid and scared and did everything I could to be invisible. Don't look at me. Don't spit at me. Don't yell your hate at me. And so, as a little kid, I would go to school afraid. I wouldn't say anything. I was afraid to make friends. And if you would have told that little girl that she'd be on stages like this, rocking rooms, she would have thought you were out of your frickin' mind. Because there's no way that little girl wanted to be seen. So, my parents, they dealt with their anger, their level of oppression, by doing things that helped them. So in our home, there was violence. In our home, there was a lot of drinking. And again, as a little kid, I didn't know what to do with all of that. And as a little kid, I had big feelings. How many of you have ever had big feelings? Yeah. How many of you as a little kid had such big feelings you didn't know what to do with them? Yeah. So, as I got a little older, I moved into middle school, and I had a teacher who said to me, you right there. I see you. You're a leader. Who's she talking to? I know she ain't talking to me. But she was. And in that moment, she created a possibility. How many of you have ever had an adult, a teacher, say something that inspired you, that gave you hope, that had you think of yourself in a new way? That happened in that moment, even though I did not believe her at the time. But she spoke something in my heart that cracked me open, and it stayed there. And as I started to get older, and I started to figure out life and being with people, and thought, oh, maybe I don't have to be so afraid. Maybe it's okay to be seen. And started my own path, healing, transformation, growth. And like so many of you, that path led me to be in a room like this, to be in the room, in the seat that you're sitting in right now. Each of us have that path. Each of us have something that was spoken into our hearts that led you to be in this room today. So when I was growing up, one of the favorite things that my mother used to love to say to me is, "You're so stupid. You're the stupidest person I ever met." So imagine being 5, 6, 7 years old and hearing those words. What kind of possibility do you think gets created with those words? So it was one of the reasons I was so scared. It was one of the reasons I always wanted to hide out, because I didn't want people to see how stupid I was. Because an adult, as the main adult in my life, those words meant something to me. If she was saying it, then it must be true. So I wonder, what words do you still have that linger in you? Words that do not serve you. We talk in this community about non-useful thoughts. Where do they come from? Who taught them to you? Who planted that seed in you? And what other choice do you want to make? So for 40 years, I've been working with young people. When I miraculously graduated from high school, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't think I was going to make it past the age of 18. I had seen friends shot and killed and stabbed, friends take their lives, and I thought, I don't want to be here either. So when I miraculously graduated from high school, I had no clue what was I going to do. I'm like, I'm still alive. What do people do if they are 18? They do this thing called college. I think I'll try that. So I flunked out my first year of college. I had no clue how to navigate the world. Then some miraculous way, I figured it out. When I graduated, I went into my very first job, which was one of the toughest high schools in San Francisco. I went as a gang prevention and violence prevention specialist, which really meant I just ran the streets with kids. And I knew how to do that. And violence did not scare me. But something happened in that space. Tough kids, hard kids, violent kids. But they were kids. So I'd hang out with them in the streets, and I'd listen to them, and I'd listen to their stories, their heart-breaking stories. And the choice they had to make day after day to stay alive, to stay in this world, to give life a chance. So after 13 years of working for San Francisco School District, I thought I was sitting in a juvenile hall with a young man who had just killed another student. And so in one room, I had the kid who had killed the one student, and the other room, I had the parents of the young man who was killed. And so this young man who had done the killing is sobbing in tears. I don't know why I did that. I wish I could take it back, in so much remorse. And he says, I want to talk to them. I just want to tell them how sorry I am. And in that moment, I saw the power of forgiveness. So I went in the other room, I asked the parents, will you come in? And then they are brokenhearted. But they agreed. And so they looked at this young man and they saw their son. And this young man, through his tears, asked for forgiveness. Will you forgive me? And these parents said, yes, we will. And in my mind, I was watching this. I thought, where do kids learn forgiveness? Where do we learn to love each other in that way? Who teaches us that? And so after all of those years doing that work, I decided, we got to go younger, people. We got to go younger. And so I hit the playgrounds. And so that next year, I created an organization called Soul Shop. And at Soul Shop, we hang out on elementary school playgrounds. We help kids to work out their problems together in a restorative way, where everybody wins. Last year, we just hit a huge milestone. We just reached 1 million students who've been touched by our programs. But here's the thing that I am most proud of. Every day we're in schools and we watch kids ask for forgiveness. I've seen kids raise their hand and say, I used to bully you since kindergarten. I acknowledge that I did that and I apologize. What can I do to make it right? And they sit there and they listen as the other student says, stop calling me that name. Stop teasing me. Stop disrespecting me. Stop excluding me. Stop hurting me. And then the other student says, next time I will respect you, care for you, listen to you, help you, include you. And the other student says, or the one student says, will you forgive me? And every time we see it, the student says, yes, I forgive you. And so imagine if you had that as a kid. Imagine if you had that opportunity to have those kind of skills on the playground. And let's just get real, it's all the playground. I don't care how old you are. We're still on the playground, folks. We're still on the playground. So how do you want to play on that playground? And so it's been an honor for me in my 40 years of doing amazing work with amazing young people to be here in your presence. Thank you all for the ways that you teach me. There's so much in this community, so much gold, so much kindness, so much love. And I learn from you every single day. And I thank you for that. And all the ways that you love me and pour into me, know that that just goes right back out on those playgrounds. Because the more I can love my staff, my team, we know we take that love and we pour it right back into those kids. And so it's an honor for me to have Soul Shop be the beneficiary of this year's event. And so I thank Judy and Eric and thank all of you. And so, as Chris and we wrap up this time, this section is called The Power of the Next Generation. And let me just tell you, folks, it's fire, okay? Now, at one point, again, you all were little people. And just for a moment, just think about, can you just see yourself as that little person? That sweet, innocent, beautiful little person. Can you see yourself? And can you see the trajectory of your life, the crazy trajectory of your life that got you here? There's a saying that our greatest wounds are our greatest gifts. And I am so blessed that in my life, I figured that out. Because those wounds of my childhood created it to be so that I could have this vehicle called Soul Shop to deliver my greatest gift. And so do you serve from your wound or do you serve from your gift? So as we are here celebrating the power of the next generation, again, thank you. Thank you for your path, for the young, beautiful, little people that you were and still are. Because every time I'm in an audience like this, I just see you as a little one, okay? Just so we're clear. So, again, thank you all. Thank Chris. And we have an introduction, but let's just clap it up.